What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sports Nuts. Let's get it.
The Sportz Nuts are back.
You are now listening to the Sportz Nuts.
What's good, my beautiful people? Welcome to the greatest sports talk show ever. It is the Sports Nuts. Hey, real fast, special shout out to everybody tuning in live on 95.5 KFCE, TigerNation.live, and the other 9 radio stations. We air on across the United States and now the 55 countries. We air in internationally. Thank you guys so much. You really have no idea how much that means to us. If you live in the island of Hawaii, more specifically on the island of Oahu, and you have a catering event you need to take care of, and you need somebody to come on and give you all the best food possible, send me a message, BrandonKeeler@gmail.com, and I'll get you in touch with our good friend Bobby at Columbus Cuisine. Oh man, guys, we have an absolute jam-packed episode for you all tonight. But we are blessed as always to be joined by our good friend Tony. Tony, man, happy to see you. Happy Tuesday. How was your weekend? Anything fun happen for you?
Man, I am on top of the world right now. We're going to talk about why in a little bit. You could not do anything to bring me down right now. Like, unless the Raiders actually make a good staffing choice at this point, I'm pretty much set for a while.
Yes. And when you see who we're talking about, if you know what Tony is, he's a diehard baseball fan, and who his team is, you will know what we're talking about. Matt, though, man, happy Tuesday. Hopefully you had a solid weekend. How are you, and anything big happened over the weekend that you'd like to share with us?
Oh man, no, nothing too much, man. Just kind of prepping for my doctor visit tomorrow, man. I'm finally gonna go see an ENT specialist tomorrow, man. So ready for that, man. Ready to be told that I'm gonna have to wear a CPAP machine and all that good stuff, man. So just getting ready for it.
And guys, when I tell you Matt needs that CPAP machine, he could shake the entire house. Just ask Matt about the Florida trip that him and I had, and how many pillows he ended up with, and how many I did not have. And he still snored like a freight train. It was insane. Shane, man, happy to have you back. Hopefully you had a solid weekend. How was your sports watching? And also, how was your weekend, man?
Man, it was good. As you can see, this is a picture that I took the other night there at North Wilkesboro with the sunset and the clouds. It was a pretty awesome race, a long race, but a pretty awesome one. So glad to go with some family members up there to watch it. And, legs is still a little bit sore after all that walking too. But other than that, man, great weekend. With family and fellowship, and was able to catch the end of the Open before we left. So definitely a great sports weekend for me all around.
Yes, indeed. It was a lot of fun, that's for sure. Quickly, guys, remember our guy Ben will not be back with us until the start of season 7, which is only a couple weeks away. So we are excited to have him back, though. Can't wait to have him. Tonight's episode, as you guys see, my guy Tony is with us. with his Tony Knows Ball series. And afterwards, see, Tony's with us the whole time. We're excited about this one. When I tell you we have a lot of stuff to talk about, the AUSL, it went without any major trouble of this season, but one of the greatest softball pitchers ever had a little bit of a scary event happen. We'll talk about that. And also, is she the highest paid player in AUSL history? Answer says yes. All right, I'm going to give you a graph in just a minute. We mention this all the time. It's about sports just hits differently. Which sporting event would you want to get free tickets to for the rest of your life? I'll show you that a little bit. And I promise you guys, it's a lot of fun on that one. The NBA offseason is still turning heads, and Matt's going to break down this. Matt, would you classify it as epic or biblical trade that the Atlanta Hawks finally got going for them? How would you classify that?
Unnecessary trade. That's kind of what I would say.
It's well deserved. Put it that way. It is official. The Mountain West Conference is expanding. What schools are joining and what schools are set to join? We know some of these already, but now it's official. We have the sports stories segment where we're going to give you sports stories and that don't get enough love that they deserve. Whether some major people actually getting fired from ESPN, we'll talk about those as well. And then everybody's favorite segment is the honorable mentions, where we give love to up to 5 stories each. They just don't get the respect that they deserve. But, it's in our DNA, and we do it. All right, guys, let's get things going. All right, Tony, so I got to get right into this. Your boys are literally the hottest team in all of baseball. I don't think you guys are even going to lose anymore after this. What do you think is the cause behind this? And have the Red Sox finally right the ship after the other side of suck happened?
Well, I have to tell you, as somebody whose mental health is tied 9 months out of the year to the success of their baseball team, this has been a very stressful summer for me so far. But thankfully, since the end of June, things have started moving in the right direction. Now I'm going to hit you guys with some stats that I've learned since June 25th. The Red Sox have scored almost double the amount of runs that they've allowed. It's a plus 54 differential. I'm sorry, plus 52 differential, 106 scored, 54 allowed. That right there is a very important piece. But we look at the fact that they have, and it is a 14-game streak. Their game today against the Orioles has been postponed. They'll do a doubleheader tomorrow, so it stays at 14 for today. They have, in the series that they've gone, in that time, they had a 4-game sweep against the Yankees. There are only 2 losses since the 25th of June were in the series against the Nats. And then they outscored the Angels in their series 20-8. They swept the AL Central and second best team in the American League, the Chicago White Sox, 15-2. Swept the terrible Mets 13 to and outscored them 13-4. And then 28-10 outscored the Rays during that series, and they are the best team in the American League right now. Those numbers are very telling. I'm going to tell you why. Over the first 60 games of the season, if Boston averaged just 4 runs a game, they would have the best league in the American. They would have the best record in the American League right now. Their offense has been the problem. They statistically have one of the best pitching staffs in the American League and in the league as a whole. They have the best defense in the league right now. Their infield leads the league in defensive run saves. It is frustrating to watch all of that amazing defense, which defense wins championships. That's true in baseball, just as it is in any other sport. To look at their offense and just go, why? And they were getting hits at times, but they weren't getting hits when they needed to. They were one of the worst in the league at getting hits with runners in scoring position. And they weren't capitalizing on other teams' mistakes. Yesterday's game against the Orioles was, I think, very telling to what we've seen or what we needed to see out of the Red Sox. The Orioles made 4 errors in yesterday's game. The Red Sox still only won 6-5. They did just enough. There were 6 lead changes in that game. The Red Sox have grinded this series out. This hasn't just been against bad teams. Yes, they played the Angels and the Mets, but the Yankees are no slouch of a team. Yes, it's the Yankees without Judge, but the Red Sox actually do pretty well when dealing with Judge. So I don't consider that a negating factor. The White Sox, one of the best teams in the league. Actually, I'm pretty sure they still have the best run differential. It's either them or Tampa Bay that has the best run differential in the American League. And then, of course, Tampa Bay, nobody expects it. They have a $110 million payroll this year, and they still got wrecked by Boston. And that was with the fact that their first 2 games were on the Friday after the All-Star break. Ranger Suarez still not quite ready to come back yet, so they're still missing arguably one of their best pitchers outside of Garrett Crochet, who's been on the injury list since not long after Alex Cora got fired. And they just keep doing what they need to win. I think that they're in a really good position. Okay, so it is the Yankees. Thank you, Ando. They do have they are in a really good position right now. Now, the thing of it is, their choices for what they do with the deadline are going to be very impactful. The Red Sox have been tied to looking at Adley Rutschman and Shea Langoliers. I think Shea is a much better choice. He's better offensively. I like him better behind the plate. Boston needs to add 1 to 2 more right-handed bats. Look for second base to be the other one. There's been some talk about Ketel Marte, but I also think it is possible that we see I think it's possible that we see a couple of other right-handers looked at, but I would really like to see Ketel Marte. I know he's older, but you can get him for a couple of years while you work on your pipeline, maybe find a different option and really start to build up this team. But as much as I love Connor Wong and Carlos Narvaez, I think Shea Langoliers is going to be one of the most important pickups that they make at the deadline.
Hey, absolutely. And, like I said, that you and I, so y'all, I'm telling you, Tony and I talk, we talk regularly. And literally I said, dude, you guys are hotter than Red October. And then it was another one and another one. And then last night he said, 14, what am I going to do? So yeah, this is actually Tony, this is their second longest winning streak ever in team program history, correct?
Yeah, the second longest in franchise history. I want to say the longest is 15 or 16. So
they're running the cusp.
Yeah, they're right there behind it. If they can sweep the Orioles, I think they have it at least tied. And then I said on Podcast Team Deferred last week, I need Boston because this 10-game stretch that they're in right now at home, which was the series against the Orioles, they've got the series against the Rays, the series against the Orioles that they're in right now, and then they have a series against the Jays. I needed them to go 7-3. 6-4 to minimum, 7-3 is ideal. Anything better is a pipe dream. So they need 2 more wins out of the next 5. So, and they're right where I want them to be. They own that last wild card slot right now. The Twins and the Mariners can't seem to figure out what they're doing. So this is exactly what I want. I wish I didn't have to deal with the first 3 months of the season. I wish I could just erase it, like call Will Smith, be like, hey, you can slap me in the face if you want for all the jokes I've made about your wife in the past, but give me that flashy thing for a minute. And let's just waste the last 3 months for a couple of reasons. But just get that gone, and we'll be good to move forward.
Absolutely. All right, Shane, go ahead, man. It's good to see you, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Well, Tony, what I want to ask you is Nolan Ariano last night became only the 6th player, I believe, the 2,000 hits, 350 home runs, and 10 gold gloves. Where do you think this kind of solidifies him in that future Hall of Fame talk, if any? And, looking back on his career, is he deserving of that Hall of Fame bid with those numbers?
I have a love. Ultimately, I love Nolan Arenado. I think that I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves because a lot of people think that his true best came when he was with the Cardinals. And don't get me wrong, I think the Cardinals have a great program. And there was one season, I believe it was in 2022 when he was in St. Louis, where he actually had the best WAR of the year for any third baseman in baseball. However, if you go back and you look at what he did when he was with the Rockies from 2013 to the 2020 season, he got a Gold Glove as a rookie, and was in Rookie of the Year voting. He was an All-Star, 4 out of the 7 years that he was there. He actually was getting MVP consideration, Gold Gloves, Silver Slugger awards. He is a very decorated player. I think the first argument that you're going to hear for his Hall of Fame bid is he doesn't have a World Series ring, and it's a valid thing. You want to see that, but when you look at his career numbers, obviously you talked about the hits and everything that he's done so far. His career WAR is just shy of 60, which I still don't believe that WAR is a real stat, but let's say for argument's sake it is because people want to talk about it. His career batting average is still at 280, so that's kind of, you really kind of want to see that, especially for for a player that's looking in that direction. But he's had 10 Gold Gloves throughout his career. He's actually better defensively if you look at the stats than he is offensively, because he's got 10 Gold Gloves and 6 Platinum Gloves. He's one of the most decorated third basemen in the game today. So for me, I don't think he's first ballot. I'm being reasonable. I don't think he's a first ballot. And even if you get him 1 or 2 rings, and I don't think he's first ballot. You get him a World Series MVP and a couple rings, then we can start talking first ballot. But I definitely think he has a solid case already for a Hall of Fame. And I think that to say otherwise, I would really want to understand why you think that. But he's a fantastic player. I think the D-backs are because he's playing in Arizona this year. I think the D-backs have a gem of a third baseman in him. And I would not be surprised. I don't think he's going to get moved at the deadline, but I think that he might be one of those that could get moved. And if he does, I hope it's to a contender. I hope that he gets a true shot at a ring, because I don't think the Arizona D-backs are going to do it for him this year. And I hope he gets closer to that ring, because he deserves one.
Absolutely. Matt, go ahead, man.
Hey, Tony, man. As per usual, man, we appreciate having you on, man. It's always a pleasure. Speaking of, moves that are being made, we know that the August 3rd trade deadline is approaching. So which contenders do you think are under the most pressure to make a major move? And what team should stop pretending and become a seller?
I'm going to say something that's going to aggravate a lot of Detroit Tigers fans, but I think the Tigers need to go ahead and move Tarek Skubal. I'm sorry, but that team is not active enough is not going to be able to do enough. They've, like AJ Hinch said, I think it was yesterday or the day before, every game is game 7. Guess what? It's July, bro. You can't play every game as game 7 for the next 3 months. It's just not going to work. Get what you can, get a huge thing. Try to get him, put him in a position, make him feel better to where he wants to resign after the season when he's doing his free agent team. That's the best thing that you can hope for if you're a Detroit Tiger fan at this point. I think that the Marlins need to stop pretending. I think that I hate to say this, and I know there's some Cardinal fans that aren't going to like it. I think Cardinals need to stop pretending. Start being aggressive and start building. The Cardinals are in a position to be a dominant team next season and really put pressure in that NL Central that's going to be hugely competitive. I think next year the National League is going to be a very stacked conference as a whole, but I think that St. Louis is selling themselves short if they think that they're going to try and contend this year, because even if they get that last wild card slot, there is so much talent on the top end of how that division is, that conference is stacked. You're not going to get anywhere. Build for next season. I think that when you look at I think when you look at the American League and what you're getting out of those teams, I definitely believe that the Jays need to just start letting players go. Just do it. It's time. I know it sucks, especially with how close you got last year. Just move on, bro. The New York Mets need to put down the MLB The Show controller for their game-making decisions and roster decisions. AI is not going to win you a championship. Steve Cohen, just let it go. Let it go. Take the L, move on. And the Padres, get what you can out of Mason Miller. I know that sucks to say. I know it sucks to say. Get what you can out of Mason Miller, build for next year.
And it's so funny you mentioned the Mets, Tony. Do you think that the Mets will lose close to or at 100 games? I mean, we already know They fill up the rocker literally the moment the third. All right, just bring it back to an example. Do you remember Family Guy when they said, "Welcome to opening day with Stewie," and then they hit the home run, and there goes the season? That's kind of what's has transpired with the Mets. Now, remember, they can spend oodles upon oodles of dollars. They still stink up the joint. But do you think they could realistically hit 100 losses or maybe even more?
Right now, they're tracking to it's like mid-90s is the last number that I saw. Steve Cohen's heart is in the right place. And I say that I actually have a lot of respect for Steve Cohen as an owner, for his mentality of I'm willing to spend. The problem is his front office is not putting the right pieces in front of him to buy. If I go to Home Depot and I'm trying to build a deck, and all somebody's doing is handing me cold plywood that's moldy, I'm not going to build a safe deck. And people are going to fall through. It's going to look terrible when I'm done. Even if you put some varnish on it and say, oh, no, it looks great. It's perfect. No, it's not. The Mets, I think the first thing that Steve Cohen needs to do is clean house. Now, I'm not talking about the roster. I start with the front office. Clean house. Get your front office replaced, and then hire a manager. You have a lot of talent. A guy like Alex Cora would do really well with an owner like Steve Cohen. But you've got to have that piece in the middle. Like, can you get Theo Epstein to come back as a GM? Say, Theo, give me 3 years to get me on the right track. Rebuild my farm system. Fix this roster. Because Theo Epstein has done amazing things. Look at the last 3 World Series titles that the Red Sox have can be attributed to Theo Epstein in some way, shape, or form. The 2016 World Series Cubs World Series, Theo Epstein. And you've got to get that front office that's going to be able to take a look at this and go, look, we're going to eat some money here, we're going to eat some money here, we're going to eat some money here, but you were going to eat that, and you're going to eat that anyway at this point. If you want to win, this is what we've got to do. And you've got to, if you're Steve Cohen, you've got to put pressure on the other owners to keep this lockout from happening. That's another thing you've got to do. Because the reason that you're going to benefit from that is the players are going to be on your side. If you're outwardly saying, look, some of these small market owners, Ken Kendricks, some of these other guys that own small market teams are trying to, make it to where they have another excuse to not spend. And we're trying to win a championship here. And you have to, because they can't force him to sell the team. So all he can do is put pressure on the other owners and call them out. In this day of social media, we don't have the league doesn't control the narrative anymore. Each individual person that's involved in the story gets to say their part of the narrative. So Steve Cohen's got to take some control there and get the players on his side. That's going to make it easier to sign some of those other free agents and maybe save a little bit of money and recover some of that stuff that you're eating off of. But the Mets, 100 games, I don't know. It's going to be close. I think the mid-90s is a pretty honest projection, but they need to start selling and get some of that back now.
I agree. Shane, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, we missed the Miz at the All-Star game due to the arm soreness and all. Then we saw his first start after the All-Star break. They pulled him after 4 innings, 65 pitches. They did come out and say that was a move that they're monitoring him going forward for the year. Do you see this move that the Brewers are making as one that some teams may look into in the coming future, with limiting pitches for their star pitchers, especially being in the middle of that playoff hunt?
Absolutely. And I the Dodgers are doing it right now with Shohei Ohtani. You've got to, you're only going to get a certain number of miles off an engine. When you look at a guy like the Miz, Jacob Mizrachi, I'm a huge fan of what he does. I love his arm. I love watching him pitch. Anytime he's up, I call it out on the Morning Minute. Like I'm always excited to watch those games. But unfortunately, this kid is also in a situation where you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop and waiting for that announcement to come across, that ESPN alert. Jacob Misiorowski's getting TJ. So if you're the Brewers, you want to. This is your best shot in a while for a World Series ring. Stagger that, slow it down, get to October, and then, hey, look, you can go 6 if you want. You can go, you can go 100 pitches if you want, but limited to like 70, 80 pitches, 4 or 5 innings for the rest of the season, unless you need him because your bullpen is worn out, you're struggling, you're trying to make sure you have the right position. There is absolutely no reason to waste his energy right now. Let him rest. And I think that you're going to see some other plays. Like I said, Shohei's doing it right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see Ranger Suarez back for a little while longer. Same with Garrett Crochet. I think what they're dealing with more right now is about rest than anything else. And I'm actually surprised Max Fried for the Yankees is coming back as quick as he is. I didn't think we were going to see him for another 3 weeks.
I mean, it's very fluid with what's going on right now. That's for sure. We're waiting for Matt to come back. While we're waiting, now, Tony, do you think the Atlanta Braves have finally awakened back up and they can completely catch the Brew Crew and the Dodgers and actually become maybe the best team in at least the NL, but maybe possibly the best team in the entire baseball world?
I think that the Dodgers have a lot of right pieces, but, there was one time when I was in my late teens, early 20s. I was in my younger tail chasing days. And I was in prime position to date a chick that was a model. And I had everything right there. She was interested. I was interested. I messed it up. I don't regret anything. I'm very happy with my wife. I'm not saying it like anything like that. What I'm saying is you can have all the right pieces. You can be in the right position. But if you don't do the right things, make the right choices, you're not going to get where you want to go. And especially when you look at the competition that they have to deal with. The Brewers are an unstoppable force right now. The Dodgers are quite possibly going to go down as one of the best baseball teams ever in the history of the game, competing with like the Murderers Row Yankees and stuff like that. So if you want to be the Braves, if you're the Braves, first of all, you don't want to try and beat them. You want to keep from beating yourself first. That is the most important thing, because more often than not, that is what destroys teams. Like the Mets right now beat themselves more than other teams beat them. They've got issues in the locker room, allegedly. Like there's all of these things that they are doing that are beating themselves. And if you are the Braves, that's what you want to avoid. And I'm going to call out Alex Anthopoulos. I don't know why I keep having to do this. I'm not even a Braves fan, but I keep having to call him out. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? There are some things that you could be doing right now. You are in prime position to make some adjustments going into the deadline here. And the changes that you swore up and down last season, you were going to make. You have to do something. You have to put a little bit more heat into your pitching lineup, because you can't rely on Spencer Strider. I love the kid, those tree stump for legs. That guy's got an arm like you wouldn't believe. You can't rely on him right now. He needs to heal. So guess what? You need to get another starting pitcher. You need to look at your lineup. Drake Walden is back. That's great. What do you have behind him? Is this where you maybe try to get Connor Wong from Boston, because Boston's going to be moving on from him? He's going to be the piece that falls when they trade for Shea Langoliers or Adley Rutschman or whatever right-handed catcher they trade for. Can you get Connor Wong? He's hitting like 280. That's not a bad piece to have in your lineup. And actually, if I remember correctly, he does pretty well in Atlanta when Boston goes to Atlanta. You've gotten plenty of looks at him because Boston plays Atlanta a lot. What? You guys should already be connected to Connor Wong at this point. And you've got to, I would say, beef up your bullpen a little bit. Go get Connor Wong. and get intentional about being the Braves and not beating yourself. That's really what they have to do.
I agree. And word on the street is that Spencer Strider is going to have a third Tommy John. This is according to 680. They had made a mention that there was they're going to come back in a week or so and let us know. Who's this? Sorry, someone was calling me. They said they come back in a week or so. They're going to reevaluate him. That was the talks on 680. I don't know who this is calling me. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Is that you calling me, Matt?
That
Who
is
this number?
That is not me calling you,
Matt. Take her for a second. I got to see who this is. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It's literally my phone is rung 3 times by this person.
Okay. Could be something important, man. Go check it out, man. Go check it out. Tony. All right, man. Speaking of that, man, the kind of question I have for you, MLBs, their CBAs, it's expiring around December. I think it's December 1st. And there's probably going to be another lockout potentially coming. Would a salary cap and a salary floor improve competitive balance, or simply give owners another way to limit player salaries?
It's not going to improve anything. And I think that we talked about this on podcast named Deferred to last week. I think it was last week, because they put out these commercials that are trying to say that it's going to improve the game. No, it's not. That is so factually incorrect. I'm surprised the MLB didn't try to sue for false advertisement. The truth of the matter is, these guys all have money. You want to tell me the way that the valuation of these teams have changed in the last 20 years, these guys don't have money? The Arizona Diamondbacks, Ken Kendricks, the owner of the Arizona Diamondbacks, was a part of the original ownership group, and he bought the others out in the early 2000s. They started that team for I think it was like $500 million. It was like $500 million, I think is what it was at that point. The Arizona Diamondbacks are worth $2 or $3 billion at this point. Kendricks also has other independent investments. He also has the real estate around the ballpark, like every other team does. He's got the money to spend on a team, but he gets away with not, because everybody says it's a small market team. Phoenix is one of the 10 largest cities in the country. That's not a small market team. And he just doesn't spend. The owner of the A's doesn't spend. The owner of the Rays, they don't spend. But the reason why we don't throw the Rays in with that is because they actually play Moneyball the correct way. So it's hard to criticize it, because you have one of the best teams in baseball right now and have had $110 million payroll. Whereas the Mets have a $375 million payroll, and they are one of the worst teams. A salary cap doesn't fix anything. It gives the owner an excuse to not spend. And it takes, and at this point, it's going to take money out of players' pockets. Because if right now, if the players, and this is why the players absolutely will not agree to a salary cap, because you're going to see guys like Mike Trout lose money, Juan Soto losing money, Shohei Ohtani losing money. That's all going to get impacted by this, because the owners are saying that they want the salary cap and they won't let those deals get grandfathered in any way. So they're all losing money. Paul Skeens is on the negotiating committee for the MLBPA for the CBA this year. Guess who's getting ready to get on the cusp of his big deal? Paul Skeens. It's crazy to me that the owners would try this again after they saw what happened in the 90s. Are we going to have to allow another steroid era to save baseball this time? Don't get me wrong, I love the steroid era. I think it was one of the best eras in baseball, and I think that those guys should be in the Hall of Fame. And I will say that with every breath I have till the day I die. But is a steroid era going to save baseball this time? Because it worked last time. This time it's going to be a lot more clear we know what we're looking for. It's not going to work. So if you're the owners, all you're doing by causing a lockout, demanding this, and saying it's for competitive balance is killing the game. Baseball has been fine without a salary cap. What we need, I think if you really want to get the players involved in a salary cap, this CBA, start with a salary floor. Set it at $125 million. Set it low, because I think the things that the owners have sent over to the players with the salary cap, they started at like 175, 150, somewhere in there. 125 salary floor, no cap. And tell the players, look, we're going to start with the floor. We're going to give you we're going to give you this, but it's with the agreement that when we come back in 5 years, we're capping it and bringing things back. And you put your foot down. Show the owner, because there is one of the historic problems in baseball is there is a huge gap between owners and players. A huge gap between owners and players. And this started in the early 1900s. We got the curse of the Black Sox started because players, these guys are winning World Series, and they're not getting paid enough to even pay their own bills. So they're taking that extra side money from the mafia to throw games and do whatever, and all that stuff that happened. That started the process that ended up creating the Commissioner of Baseball. And since then, there has been a gap. The 1970s, players had to go to court to get free agency so they had control of their own careers. So historically, throughout the entire history of baseball, the owners have done nothing but be greedy. In NBA, the owners will take some stuff, but they give players a little bit back. Same with the NFL. Look, we won an 18-game season, but we're going to take away preseason games that players don't want to play. We're going to give you a second bye week. They are giving back to the players to get what they want. MLB owners, all they want to do is take. Until they figure that out, they're not going to get what they want.
That's disheartening to hear, you know. Shane, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah, well, Seven, I just want to get your thoughts. The pictures and all came out today for the uniforms coming up August 13th for the Field of Dreams game between the Twins and the Phillies. What do you think about the uniforms and how they're trying to keep up with that tradition of the old school look of that game?
I think that, first of all, I love the Field of Dreams game. I love that they're not doing it every year, but they're also doing what they can to do it right. Like the last two times that they've done the Field of Dreams game, it has never been overdone. It has never been bad. I remember watching the first Field of Dreams game, and even though it was the Yankees and the White Sox, just being completely enamored with what they did, the presentation, because it's just as much about the entertainment value as the baseball that's on the field. I think these new uniforms look fantastic. I think if you're going to do something like a Field of Dreams game, and the other things that they're doing with these specialized games each year, I know they're looking at playing in some Negro League stadiums in the future. They're looking again at trying NFL stadiums and stuff like that. Like what they're doing with these specialty games each year, I think has been for the most part done very well. I think that you have to focus on the subtle pieces. You don't overdo it. Me personally, I'm legitimately excited about this. I think though that for me, if I had to complain about one thing, you're picking a game, you're picking teams. It's always seems to be one of the bigger teams that gets focused on in the league, the Yankees, the Phillies, and stuff like that, and then a smaller team. Like this year, it's the Phillies and the Twins. This should be two of the bigger teams in baseball. And I think if you really want to make it interesting, make it as a golden apple, because with the connection that Field of Dreams has to the game, I don't think you should say which team is going to the Field of Dreams game until the All-Star break. Make it a reward. Like, because then you can take a look at, a team that's really surging. Like, I would much rather watch like a, Brewers Yankees or something like that. You find a series that's going to be going on when that game would happen and say, okay, you guys are two of the hottest teams in baseball right now. Guess what? You're going to the Field of Dreams game. Make it a reward or whatever that specialty game is that year. Make it an incentive for these teams that are performing hot, because nobody believes the teams are a competitive team this year. Like they're kind of up and down. They're not going to make the playoffs. The Phillies, everyone wants to see the Phillies. You got Bryce Harper, you got Kyle Schwarber, Christopher Sanchez, Zach Wheeler. Like there's a list. Why is it every year it's one side? Like when it was the Yankees and the White Sox, nobody wanted to see the White Sox play baseball. The White Sox fans didn't even want to see the White Sox play baseball that season. So why are we? And I get you're going to get some ratings, but I think like if you were to tell me that the next Field of Dreams game that'll probably happen not next season but the season after, because I think they're kind of going back and forth, which is the right way to do it. We're going to do Yankees Red Sox in the old school uniforms in Dyersville. That would be a game for the season. Like that's
tickets right away to
that's
go see
my
that.
biggest gripe. I would drive just to stand in the area.
Just the fact that they'd have the two most historic franchises and one of the most historic and iconic ever fields. That just right there alone would sell tickets.
Or if you're going to do a team like the White Sox Cubs.
Yeah.
Give me a rivalry matchup. Give me something that's more marketable than Phillies and Twins. Really? That's my biggest gripe.
I agree on that one. We're talking to Tony Gladstone. He is actually one of the newest members of him and his team are the newest members of the Sportz Nutz network. So let's start going into the topics here. And I know everybody loves talking baseball. We're talking some more ball here, but the AUSL went off without any major troubles this year. However, one of the greatest softball pitchers ever, Carlin Pickens, had an absolute horrible event take place over the weekend. They were playing against the Oklahoma City Spark, and the pitch came off the bat. They said it started out. They originally said on the live it was 96, but from what I heard it was like 75 miles per hour or something like that. And it hit her shoulder, but it popped her right in the mouth. And she stayed in the game, but then she ended up leaving for obvious reasons. They did check her for a concussion, came out fine, and everything, but they showed her she had a massive cut right here, and her lip was very swollen on that one. But here's also the craziness. This is according to many sources related to the AUSL that Carlin Pickens made news to become the highest paid AUSL player ever. She signed a 2-year, $250,000 extension with the Carolina Blaze. That's pretty cool. If that is in fact the actual number, I'm really excited about that one. But what does this say about the toughness of players? And first off, I want to start with you, Matt. Could you imagine you throw a pitch and, in college, they require you to wear the mask, but in professional, you're not required, but you're only required in the infield as well. But like if you go to the outfield, that's why you don't see a lot of outfielders wear the mask. But could you imagine you throw a pitch and this ball beelines right for your face? Just think about the pain for a second. Like, not only is it going to hurt, like, oh, get out, the fact that you're getting stunned, it's a stinger and you're getting stunned, like that just happened to me. How do I react on that? What would be your first reactions, Matt?
Oh man, game's over for me, man. I'm taking myself out the game. Yeah, man. I mean, because the way that ball hit, oh my gosh. Yeah, man. I got to check out the game after that one, man. But I think something happened. The ball hit something, went up. And it came down and hit her.
They hit it, and the ball hit her shoulder.
Yeah.
And then it popped into her mouth right afterwards. And then
man,
she looked kind of like dazed for a second, like, where's the ball? And then she found it. But, of course, the damage had already been done.
Oh, yeah. Definitely dazed and confused after that one. With that, but at the end of the day, it's part of the game. People get hit in baseball, man. It's baseball, softball, no matter what, tennis ball, basketball, football, people get hit. It happens, man. Best thing is not about, what you're going to do, is how you're going to bounce back from it and react. So, hey, man, this is an unfortunate situation. I hope she recovers fully. I know she had like a busted lip or something like that.
Yeah, it was the way I would describe it, it was a shiner for the lip. She had a massive, it was probably about that big, and it was bulged out pretty bad. Shane, what are your thoughts also on Carlin Pickens and the fact that if these reports are true that she is now the highest paid player ever in AUSL history, what does that also say for the future of all current and incoming players for the next round of AUSL draft?
Well, I think this year's draft was kind of one of those ones, like we look back at the Caitlin Clark draft into the WNBA. This current class that came in through the draft this year for the AUSL is probably one of the most talented that they've seen and the most kind of field ready. You go in, you had Grant in this class who's already hit 8 home runs this year.
Look at Maya Brady. She hit a record for the whole league at 11.
Yeah, you got Jordy Fromm taking a break because she's pregnant, but you also had that coming up. There's a lot of stars that were in this past draft, and they've come out and they've played so far. And I mean, if you're going to be pitching and somebody goes out there to bunt and they completely snap the bat in half because they've got one of your 70-mile-an-hour fastballs, yeah, you're doing something right from that circle. So definitely interesting to see. But unlike what we saw in the WNBA, the AUSL, the veterans have kind of taken these rookies under their wings, and I believe it's created a better product out there on the field. And there's a reason why ESPN has decided to air a bunch of these games, and the interest for the sport's just growing. So that money and that contract is just going to keep growing as it grows.
Addison's already said she wants to meet Carlin Pickens. So shout out to my daughter. My daughter has an absolute love for softball. She's really come into it. I'm excited for this upcoming season. What about you, Tony? Put yourself in this position. You're the fastest softball thrower literally in all of softball. I mean, from what Cassie, my wife, told me is if you throw a 75-mile-per-hour fastball in softball, it's equivalent to a 95 to 98-mile-per-hour fastball in baseball. But imagine this. You throw the ball and then, bam, the ball hits you in the face. That's got to hurt like no tomorrow. I mean, I've never been hit by a baseball or softball. I've been hit by football, and I've been hit by basketball. Those don't feel good. Matt, I think, actually threw a basketball at me one time by accident because I wasn't looking, and I turned and the ball smacked me, and I was like, really? I think we were playing. It was when we were playing with Jason and Velo, Matt. And I remember you had said Brandon, and then you threw it, and I looked right as I threw it, and it popped me in the face. I was like, really?
Definitely
it caught me off guard.
I was saying that was on purpose. That was on purpose.
Definitely on purpose.
If it were Matt, yes, anything Matt does to hurt me is on purpose. But Tony, put yourself in this position. What is your first reaction? Like, are you obviously you're going to want to get checked out to see if you have maybe a form of concussion, but you're dazed and confused. What is your reaction? Are you going to take yourself out of the game from that?
Well, I mean, the first thing I'm going to say is ow, because I mean that had to hurt. I feel like, first of all, I watched that clip, and I was glad that you want to talk about it because I would have wanted to eat myself. But the fact that she wanted to stay in the game, and if you watch like AUSL in general, these women are athletes. They are competitors. They are there to play and I think part of it is they understand what's at stake. And she's no different from that. She's got a great arm. She's an accurate pitcher. She's everything that you want as more eyes are coming onto this league. And I think that it's fantastic in that sense. But I do think as a professional athlete, you also have to balance out. Do I want to stay in right now, or do I want to make sure that I don't have a broken jaw? Because if that doesn't come off of her shoulder first and that hits her in the jaw, her jaw is shattered, guaranteed. So I think almost it's like, for me, it's fortunate. But then you have to look at that shoulder that she got hit, that hit first. What kind of damage was done to that shoulder? How is that going to impact her pitching? Because even if it was her non-throwing side, your non-throwing arm has just as much of an impact on how you're able to pitch, regardless of if it's baseball or softball, as it does your throwing arm. Because there's, that whole routine gets thrown off by just a twinge of pain. So I think that for her, like, I'm proud of her for wanting to stay in the game. I'm proud of her for finishing the play. I'm proud of her for taking her licks. I would not be surprised to see the AUSL leadership and whatever I think they have a CBA. They have a CBA. I would not be surprised to see the face mask thing get reevaluated in the offseason. When I caught playing baseball, when I get the chance to go play softball, beer league, whatever it is, I'm usually behind the plate. I have a mask on. You got to protect the face. That's where the money is, first of all. And second of all, they've got to prioritize safety. Like I rode bulls when I was in high school. People think I was crazy for it. I'll do anything stupid once, twice if it's fun. And one of the things that was just coming up when I was bull riding was the first was the helmet, and the second was the Kevlar vest the bull riders wore. That was more common just because like what had happened to Lane Frost and some of those other guys in the late 90s, early 2000s. but the helmet was a less common thing than it is now. And then we see these guys get kicked in the head and trampled on, and everybody's kind of like, okay, this is probably for the best. Yes, I would look more cool if I'm on the back of a bull with a cowboy hat, but I would look even cooler if after I get done bull riding, I'm able to actually kiss my family members and I'm not in the back of an ambulance with a face that's crushed.
Yep.
She has to, the softball players have to consider that too. And also, I want to say, AUSL is doing so well already. We have a player getting a $250,000 extension. The WNBA took 20 years to get to where something like that was a common thing. That's crazy to me.
I was about to say the amount of growth that is going on, Tony. You hit the nail on the head. Shane has also mentioned this ample amount of times. Matt has too. We've all mentioned this. Softball is like in a whole different zip code and different plane, even with how much growth has really transpired in the last 3 to 5 years. And I'm really excited for the future. Shout out though to the Talons and the Bandits, and also shout out to Portland's the Portland Cascade for making the AUSL playoffs. Yes, there's only 3 because there's only 6 teams right now. So definitely shout out though to everybody who played. I told Cassie, I was like, man, I hate that the season's there. But then she reminded me that Team USA softball is starting up soon. So I'm like, oh, so
and the women's professional
baseball. And the women's professional baseball. That's right. So it's coming. We're not done yet. I just hate that the AUSL is done. I'm like, God. But first off, shout out though the fact that you play for a month and a half straight and you banking. So that is everybody's dream job right there. Is you work for a month and a half and you're getting paid $60,000 to $80,000 a year. That's pretty fantastic. I love it. So all right, let's go to the next topic. Now, there's something to say about sports that just hits differently. Now, we've said this time and time again, in fact. Well, I'm going to turn the banner off so you guys can see this graphic better. I'm going to put this graphic up. And I'm going to start right away with you, Matt. Now, it says, which sporting event would you like to get free tickets to? But it actually says on the post for life. So I'm going to continue on there. Matt, you see this right here. You can get tickets to any of these events for life. Which one are you choosing and why?
Oh man, I mean, you have to go Super Bowl. That's one of them. You have to go Super Bowl just cause, and probably after the 3rd or 4th one, I'll probably start selling the tickets and I'll be a very rich man. But to be honest with you, man, I mean, so it'll definitely be Super Bowl, and then I will have to go. Let me see. If you go World Cup, I mean, it just depends. You might not make it out of there alive. Depending.
Well, World Cup's every 4 years, so
yeah. But I'm saying you might not make it out alive, depending where it's at. If it's down in Brazil, if it's down in Argentina, if it's down there, you might not be making it back, man. Same thing. The Olympics is a good one too. Oh man, if the Daytona 500 wasn't so loud,
it's really not at Daytona. It's loud for about 10 seconds. That's okay. You hear them coming to you, and then they go boom, 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 boom.
No. See, what's saying on realize is that boom, 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 with your eardrums busting and you're going deaf. That's what that is.
That's why you got headphones too, Matt.
Trust and believe, I'm still having some issues from the race on Sunday night. So.
Yeah, but I would definitely pick Super Bowl, and I would probably go with oh man, I'll probably go with Olympics. Super Bowl.
I'm surprised you didn't choose the NBA Finals.
It's a basketball game, bro. I've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of basketball games.
What about you, Shane? You see this list. Which one would you like to get free tickets to for life?
Well, for me, that middle row. I'm gonna have to pick one of the 3 out the middle row for me.
I kind of know where you're leaning to.
And it's a place that you can go. It's hollow ground. I'm going to go with the Masters.
Yep, that's where you go.
Because then again, I know that I'm not going to spend that much money there because all the concessions are so cheap. So I don't have to worry about all those inflated prices on that end. But just to get into the Masters, just as a selection process for the practice rounds, is one of those things that if you get selected once, you might not get selected again in the next 25 years.
Yep.
So definitely I would have to go with the Masters, although the World Series would be right behind there as being the other event that I would have to pick for tickets.
What about you, Tony? You see this list. Which ones would you want to get tickets to for life?
I think the World Series is a given. I don't think anybody's going to be surprised by my answer there. If you are, you haven't been paying attention. And honestly, I'm going to actually go with kind of Matt on this. I think it would be great to be able to go to the Olympics.
Yes.
Because there is so much competitive sports history that's made at the Olympics. There are so many different things, the culture, the spectacle of the opening and closing ceremonies, and the fact that you're never going to see the same opening and closing ceremony throughout your entire time of going to the Olympics. I personally, for me, like the first one, obviously, like I said, World Series is the first one. For my second one, I'm leaning towards Olympics. And I think the Super Bowl I get, but I've worked one, and that was the longest 7 weeks of my life. I actually lost more sleep working the Super Bowl than I did as a new parent. So, and I had one kid for a reason. So I think I'm going to have to go Olympics as my second one.
I like it. So if I had to choose on this list, I definitely would choose the Stanley Cup Final. So that actually isn't as a typo. It's called the Stanley Cup Final, not the Stanley Cup Finals. Phil Hewitt, our good friend, the Anaheim Ducks PA announcer, re-verified everybody that you need to know. It's called the Stanley Cup Final. But I would take the Stanley Cup Final as my first, and then I'm going to follow right in the footsteps with you, Shane, and go to the Masters. I mean,
I get it.
That is the most iconic of iconic sports events ever. Why would you not want to go see the Masters? Who cares if we all stink it up the joint playing golf? That's still a forever.
Hey man, because if you talk, they kick you out, bro.
I know.
No phones.
No phones. They don't even let you have your phone.
No,
They don't
nothing.
have any electronic devices.
Phone,
So you got with 18 holes in the hot blistering sun beaming down on you.
But also think about it too, Matt. It's during the first part of April. Traditionally, it's not overly hot. Now this year is a fluke in itself, but it's not traditionally overbearingly hot during the Masters tournament. So I would do that. But then my third one, God, this one's the hard one. I think, because I've been to the Olympics. I went to several Olympic events in '96.
I guess that's why you said only two, Brandon.
Yes, that's why I said two, because it's so difficult to choose that third one. But I'm actually going to say this, since nobody said, I'm going to say the NBA Finals. Yes, I love basketball. Going to basketball is a lot of fun, but it's just something different about certain sports. So speaking of basketball, the NBA offseason is absolutely turning heads still. Now, obviously, we don't know officially yet where LeBron's going, although we know where he's going. It's Golden State, and especially with what Steve Kerr said, we got him. So, but the Atlanta Hawks, man, let me correct that. This is the way Matt says it. The Atlanta Hawks made a absolute blockbuster trade. It was a 3-team trade. So I'm going to actually give Matt the floor. Matt, I want you to explain everybody about this trade and what your expectations are now that Atlanta has some pretty significant defensive pieces to play with.
Absolutely. Just for people that don't know, the complete trade was the Atlanta Hawks pretty much received Lou Dort from OKC and Ryan Nembhard from Dallas. You'll notice Nembhard, I know it kind of sounds familiar. His brother plays for the Indiana Pacers. He's the guy that plays next to Tyrese Halliburton that scores a lot of the points. Mavericks got Zachary Richardson in a 2027 second-round pick from Atlanta. Yes, the Hawks have finally given up on Richardson.
Please say it right, the Hawks.
The Hawks finally gave up on Richardson. He just didn't fit their system, man. Again, guys, it's not these players' faults that they get picked number one when they shouldn't be picked number one in that draft. Stephon Castle should have been the pick in that draft, number one pick in that draft. But and went to Zachary Richardson, and his time just didn't work out in Atlanta. Atlanta just had too many perimeter players, man. Too many wings. Isn't that something? Atlanta with too many wings. What?
Remember, we used to have too many forwards at one time too.
That's just the same thing I'm saying now, man. It's too many.
Atlanta does Atlanta stupid stuff. Is what they do with getting
crazy,
drafts.
man. And then when Atlanta gets the first pick or gets a top 3 pick, there's nobody there really.
They go get Marvin Williams for all people.
Marvin. Yeah, but we could have had Darren Williams or Chris Paul, man. That pick is a pick that will get your ownership group kicked right out. Also, man, the Thunder received a 2027 Chicago Bulls second round pick. Atlanta's most favorable was like a swap of the 2031 and swap of 2032. So, Atlanta pretty much moved Richardson and 3 second round picks. And they got Lou Dort back, man, which, Atlanta officially declaring that it no longer wants to operate like a rebuilding team. The Hawks are prioritizing players who can help them win playoff games immediately rather than continuing to wait for every young player to develop. I'm seeing a lot of things where people are saying that Hawks are going to only score 70 points a game, but they're only going to
that too.
Yeah, they're only going to allow like 55.
Yeah, I saw that too. And I was like, that's not true.
They have all these things, man. But guys, Richardson was number 1 pick in 2024. He made the all-rookie first team after averaging 12 points a game.
You saw what Draymond Green said, though.
No, what did he say?
He said that this was an indication that Atlanta was never really sold on Richardson in the first place.
Yeah, otherwise they would have built around him if they were sold on a player. But you got to show something to build around.
Don't show me that you can only score at 5 to 8 points. Oh, great. Good job. Congratulations. You're Bronny James 2.0.
Remember his rookie hit. First of all, don't discredit the Prince. Second of all, you got to understand. You got to understand, man. In his rookie year, man, he was like, man, this league. I didn't expect this league to be this fast and physical like this. He was showing. He was showing willing to take a step back. That's not what you want your number 1 pick to be. You want your number 1 pick to have an attitude like AJ DeMonte. AJ DeMonte think he's the hottest thing since sliced bread. That's what you want your number 1 pick to be like. Even if he's not that, you want him to have that. Have that confidence. That's what you want. Richardson just didn't have that. He was more reserved, laid back. Didn't really, talk too much. But Lou Dort, gives the Hawks one of the league's most physical perimeter defenses. He finished 4th in Defensive Player of the Year in 2024, 2025. All defensive player, man. Pair him with Dyson Daniels, and you got some defense back there. But
just get that offense going, and then you're good.
Yeah, man. And then they match up better with the Knicks now. Now they match up way better with the Knicks. Dort can just get on Jalen Brunson, and people can go and guard everybody else, man. So people forget the Hawks were the only team that beat the Knicks twice in the whole playoffs. So, man. It was a trade where.
What are your expectations now that this move is done?
I like it for Dallas. I like the trade for Dallas, man, because I think Richardson will work out in Dallas. He could just run the floor, make over 3-pointers, defend multiple positions, cover out the basketball, finish opportunities created by Kyrie and Cooper. And he can become a dependable 3rd or 4th option. There's no pressure, So I think he'll average about 15 next year, and you'll see him get to around that 19, 20-point game-ish in the long run. He'll be one of those players, man. Really, I think he's solid. I think he just needed a team that can invest in him. He only played 24, 25 minutes a game here in Atlanta. There's 48 minutes in the game. So I don't know, man.
Cooper Flag also gained like 3 inches over the summer.
That's what they say. They say him and Stephon Castle both grew 2
inches.
They both
grew or something like that.
That would mean Cooper Flag is 6'11". So let's hold off on that for a second, man. Let's make sure that that's accurate, man. Because
program numbers. That's program
exactly
numbers.
Some NBA 2K numbers, man.
Yeah. Everybody keeps popping up that he went from 6'8" to 6'11".
They says he grew.
And then
6'9",
Castle from 6'6" to 6'8" or something like that.
Yeah, like I said, man, I got to see something first, man. When I see Cooper Flag, if he's
let me have the measuring stick myself, and I'll measure him that way, right?
If he's the same height as their center, man, then but we'll see with that. But no, man, these are obviously. I don't think this is a blockbuster trade. It's not a blockbuster trade because it's not a blockbuster player.
For the Atlanta Hawks, it is.
You said what?
For the Atlanta Hawks, it is.
Nah, for the Hawks, it just shows that they're more in the win now kind of mode. They got Jalen Johnson. I think he's the question mark. Is he your guy?
Everybody's wanting to know, is he going to take that next step?
I need 30.
Everybody has said he needs to take that.
I need 30 a game. I think he's trying to distribute the ball too much. I think he's trying to be a triple double player too much. I need 30. That's going to show you. And there's been times he can get that, but there's been times where he's just sat back and got into the floor of the offense and hasn't been aggressive. He doesn't have a go-to move. Like, you can't say, Jayden, give me a bucket right now, and he could do something to get a bucket, like ISO Joe could, like Trae Young could, like
Jay Smooth could do it too.
It's like Steve Smith could back in the day, man.
Back when Mookie and Smitty could bust a three almost every time.
Yeah, he's still relying on his athleticism. I think hopefully he was in the lab this summer and started getting the package together, as these young kids call it, started working on his bag, so hopefully he did that. If he did that, he will be a top 5 player, guys. I mean, he got MVP votes. So, I mean, look, man.
This is your time now. This is your time.
He needs to come back, and he needs to be aggressive. He got to be aggressive. I need 28 to 30 points from him, man. If he comes back averaging 28 to 30, then you got something. You got something, and that's your guy. But if not, then you know what? You got to bring somebody else in. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. I think it was a good trade for all 3 teams. People forget OKC got to save about almost $300 million on their books, since they made these trades. So we'll see what happens.
I also want to mention, I'm not trying to be a high school cheerleader, but be aggressive. Be aggressive just came in my mind every time you talked, Matt. So, all right, it's official, y'all. The Mountain West Conference is expanding. Now, we knew this was going to happen. The news came out late on Saturday, and here are the programs that are joining the Mountain West. Utah Tech. Remember, we actually we had Utah Tech's AD on our show, and he said they were working some things in the puzzle. And, Utah Tech in every sport is going to join the Mountain West Conference starting in 2029. Toledo will only be a football-only member. This one, I'm really excited about this. Central Arkansas is going to join in every sport but volleyball, which is kind of typical. Mountain West doesn't really hone in on volleyball right now. It's not their signature yet. But we knew about this one coming too. Tarleton State is only going to be a football member until 2035, and then they're going to transition all remaining sports except, again, volleyball to Mountain West Conference play. So this is really exciting on the front. Now, we all knew this was coming. We knew it was coming. But real quick, Matt, because of time, let me know your thoughts on these programs joining the Mountain West Conference. And do you personally think, Matt, that the Mountain West Conference can stop being labeled as a group of 5 and maybe transition eventually soon enough to a Power 5 conference?
I think if these teams can have a good year, solid year. And when I say a solid year, I'm not talking about just wins and losses. I'm talking about how do they stack up when they play these big teams, these Power 5 teams, when they play against those teams. Are they in the game? Are they taking them down to the wire, or is it a blowout at the end of the first quarter? What are we doing here? Mm-hmm. I think that's what these teams need to do. They need to show that they can play with these guys for at least 3 quarters. So we know the disparity in talent. We know eventually that's going to be the factor. But at least 3 quarters, hang with these guys, man. Make them sweat a little bit. If they show that they can really, 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 really get after it when they play these teams, then I think people will start taking them a lot more seriously.
We're starting to see the end of the WAC. We knew the WAC was coming eventually. We knew it was going to be its demise was coming. I mean, just think about this. Ironically, 28 years ago, the Western Athletic Conference was a completely different entity. I mean, they had perennial powerhouses in their conference. I mean, you had BYU, or I like to call them BYU. You had BYU. You had TCU. You had Colorado and Colorado State at one time were both together in the in the WAC. So this is not a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. Really excited on what is transpiring. We're not done by any means seeing conference realignment. You guys have heard Shane, Matt, and myself mention many times that we're on the precedence of seeing possibly the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the everybody else conference. That's literally how they're going to label it as. It's the everybody else conference.
Or you're just going to have those conferences lead the NCAA all together.
That's right.
Which is another story that we could go for about an hour on.
Yes. Yes, that's true. speaking of stories, because of time, Shane, tell us your sports story, man.
Oh yeah, well, my sports story is kind of going to go along the lines of sports story that I had earlier this year and in the season with baseball, and the MLB actually having to take over some of their games because of the FanDuel or whichever one Sports Network demise. We saw just today it was announced that 4 NHL teams are going to be handled by NHL production crews. Because of that, the Carolina Hurricanes being one of those. And then you've got a couple others, the Columbus Jackets, Minnesota Wild, St. Louis Blues. Also, the Anaheim Ducks might be joining as well because of their network. Victory Plus missed a couple payments. So it's just one of these things. The NHL is embracing, their production crew and going to step it up and going to give fans what they want to see, and especially with them carrying the Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricanes. It'll be definitely great to see how they do that and handle the production style on a larger scale than what they're used to. So definitely wanted to highlight that, and I'm going to be watching. And they did say, don't worry, the local announcers are still going to be on the TV.
And we have to wait until next July to see if we're going to continue saying the Stanley Cup champion Carolina Hurricane. We'll see. All right, now it's time for everybody's favorite segment.
Say it for a year at least.
You have 365 days to say it, Shane. You're good on that. And now it's time for everybody's favorite segment. It is the Yes, it is. Your favorite segment is the honorable mentions. What we do is we give love to up to 5 stories each because it's in our DNA. We are the Sportz Nutz. My first honorable mention is going to go out to actually our guy, John mentioned this too, but it is the entire FIFA World Cup. This is actually going down as the most watched World Cup ever. Preliminary estimates say a worldwide viewership number is in excess of 4.25 billion. Do the math, folks. There's 8 billion people in the entire planet. So half the planet's population watched this World Cup. The viewership for America was 1.8 billion. This is estimate. Now, these are not actual numbers. They will not come out until the middle of September because they have to include the whole economic impacts that it had throughout the entire world. But just think about this for a second, y'all. 4.25 billion people. 1.5 billion of it watched the final, which, by the way, an absolute amazing final. I hate that it ended the way it ended. I kind of wanted him to go to PKs just because I liked it. So really, really exciting. Shane, give us your first honorable mention, please, sir.
Well, my first honorable mention is going to go out to Mr. Steph Curry. He will be the first active NBA player to have an exhibit at the Hall of Fame. It's going to be titled opening up this weekend, Steph Curry Beyond the Arc. Kind of tells his story of an underrated prospect and now a decorated 4-time champion. It's definitely great to see. And, first time ever in nearly 75 years of the Hall of Fame that an active player has ever been an exhibit there. So definitely great to see and something that he deserves in the way that he's changed the game.
I'd be willing to bet every NBA team to this day, except obviously the Golden State Warriors, are kicking themselves in the backsides because they had the teams that had that chance to draft him didn't. So, Matt, give us your first honorable mention, please.
Man, that was the Blake Griffin draft, man. Teams that a lot of players in that draft. James Harden was in that draft. There was a lot of players in that draft. Curry was not in a top 5 pick at that time. Whatever. But anyways, thanks Shane for taking mine, man. But I'm gonna go ahead and give a shout out to Pat McAfee. I know you guys have been seeing all these layoffs going on in ESPN for today. Guys,
The one I sent you, is that true, by the way, Matt?
I don't know.
Do you
That's
trust
crazy.
that guy?
I don't trust that. That's crazy. But Pat McAfee has to start making $60 million a year next year. That's a salary. It's gonna be $60 million. So they got to pay him $60 million. So you're seeing these layoffs. There's a reason why you're seeing these layoffs, man. They got to pay your boy Pat. So shout out to Pat McAfee for changing the geographical landscape of ESPN.
I want to say
he at least covers it all.
He does. He covers
He's
it all.
He's not that one trick pony like most of the other ones that they let go.
Yeah.
I will say though, I will tip my cap to what ESPN did. Every station has a villain, and everybody has a villain. ESPN's a Stephen A. Smith. You didn't need to have Ryan Clark be Stephen A. Smith 2.0. But I still think it was kind of interesting how it came about announcing that Ryan Clark had been let go after he had made the announcement that the Dallas Cowboys were Super Bowl contenders. They go to commercial and come back, and Ryan Clark has been let go. They have no idea where the heck he went. Come to find out, he was fired. So, and then Carl Ravage. How about that for a second? Carl Ravage, the guy you have seen for 30 plus years covering Major League Baseball, he got his pink slip today. So, absolutely heartbreaking. Tony, give us your first honorable mention, please, sir.
Cam Scatabo was at the Giants Fan Fest and fell when he was trying to do a backflip for a fan. Just coming off a horrific ankle injury, and his response is to do a backflip. I really think he missed his opportunity as a Marine. I really think he did. I want to know what his favorite crayon flavor is. I really do. I love that kid. He's so talented, though. John Harbaugh
has absolute zero fear in his heart.
Zero fear. And that's the thing. And that's why I respect him, because he just goes. And we need guys like him in sports, because that's the entertainment piece we need. John Harbaugh was asked about it, and he said, if you're going to do it, don't miss it. At least stick the landing.
Yes.
I think that's great. I think Harbaugh is the perfect coach for Scatabo, because he knows, there's 4 things up in that kid's head, and 3 of them are raccoons that are arguing over a rotten apple. and he's just like, just do you, boo-boo. Just don't hurt yourself again. I love it. I love it.
That's awesome. I love it. All right. So my next one was actually going to be about the ticket cost for the World Cup final. Nope. Today, breaking news came out. My next honorable mention goes out to Josh Gates, the Expedition Unknown crew, and what was discovered. It was announced, it was a couple seasons ago, Shane, correct? A couple seasons ago, they made the mention about the Pan Am airliner, the Clipper Endeavor. It is actually responsible for every pre-flight safety checklist you see on everything is because of this flight. Well, they didn't know where the emergency exits were, where the flotation devices were. And unfortunately, 52 of the 75 people met their demise because of, well, guess what? The Endeavor was found today, 2,000 feet below on the oceans. It was on the ocean floor. They have documented proof that there is human remains. So they have not made the announcement yet what they're going to do about how they're going to, if they're even going to consider bringing the plane up. They have to get some of the stuff down there so they can officially give the correct burial to the people who passed away from this. But there will be an episode on Expedition Unknown. Obviously, there's one tomorrow night, but it's not related to this. It will be sometime, what Josh said, mid to late September. It is a special episode because they're still gathering every evidence find. But this is an exciting time. This is literally going to rewrite the history books for all airline tragedies, because this is the plane that, for everything you do now in the airlines, is because of them. So that's my second honorable mention. Shane, give us your second honorable mention, please.
My second honorable mention is going to go out to AZ Fudd. Becomes only the 4th rookie in WNBA All-Star history to participate in the three-point contest, joining Kelsey Mitchell, Ryan Howard, and Siona Citron as the only other rookies to participate in the three-point competition. She's had a decent rookie year, nothing to kind of really raise your arms about and celebrate automatically, but it's had a good rookie year, and is was the #1 overall draft pick, and we're going to see her this weekend at the All-Star festivities for the WNBA.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Matt, give us your second honorable mention, please.
Absolutely. Can't speak here. The Miami Dolphins and linebacker Jordan Woods, man, they agreed to a 3-year, $51 million contract. Jordan, that makes him the 6th highest paid linebacker in the NFL. Man, I cannot talk today.
Age is catching up to you, unfortunately.
I know, right? We know.
Brandon's older than dirt.
Due to the Dolphins not having any quarterbacks, receivers, or anything that can result into an offense, they're spending the money on defense. And Jordan's a really good player, man. So
I heard they were getting Shane Falco, by the way, to play for the Dolphins. Is that true?
Being that they got nothing on offense to show, they got Malik Willis, I guess.
Who was that quarterback that was in the Any Given Sunday that Jamie Foxworth played?
Willie Beeman. Yeah,
that's who they're going to get next in there, right?
Do they still have Jalen Waddle, or did they trade Jalen Waddle?
I think they traded him.
Yeah,
the Dolphins. This is why I wish Ben, because when Ben, he's a diehard Dolphins fan, he will tell us this team is absolutely abysmal. So I like it. Tony, give us your second honorable mention, please, sir.
The Rangers, the Texas Rangers, 3rd-round draft pick from this draft that just happened for Major League Baseball, signed his $2.7 million draft deal today and announced that he needs Tommy John surgery. He is 18 years old and can already throw 100 miles an hour.
Ooh.
That's unprecedented.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you need to throw that fast at 18?
This is the true increase in TJ surgeries. It's not the pitch clock.
No, it's because you're doing things that your body is not meant to do.
You're doing things that the body's not meant to do, and you're doing it. They're doing it too young and for too long.
Yep.
Like in the 90s, yeah, Randy Johnson could throw a bill, but you did not see him break 100 miles an hour.
76 pitches.
But yeah, he would throw it like maybe 5 times in a game, and he didn't start throwing over 100 miles an hour until like June, July. We've got guys that are doing it in the offseason. Why? Yeah. That's causing the need for more Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, the Miz, out of his 65 pitches, 24 of them were triple-digit pitches.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, like 12 were at like 102 or at 102 plus. Like that's I respect him for the ability to do it, locate.
Don't do it all the time,
though. You need to get that under 5 for 60, 70 pitches. Didn't be more than 5.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
My final honorable mention goes out to said Atlanta Braves. They are 3-1 in their last 4 games and have started their official climb back up the standings in the NL and the entire league as a whole. They are now only 5 games behind the buy here, pay here Dodgers. The Braves are playing right now. They are losing to the Padres, but Atlanta could always win. You never know. Shane, give us your third and final honorable mention, please, sir.
My third and final honorable mention is going to go out to Josh Kerr. The British runner was at a meet in London this past weekend and ran a mile of 3 minutes, 42.66 seconds.
Wow.
Setting the new record that's records almost stand for 3 decades now. But he broke it in front of a home crowd. Was a pretty exciting thing to see watching the highlights. But just to give you guys an idea, an average TV commercial is 4 minutes.
Daggum.
so
commercial break.
Commercial break, yeah.
Commercial break. But he could run a mile and get back before the commercial break is done.
That's crazy. That is.
He can go do that. I'm getting potato chips. I'm good.
Yeah,
I could barely make it to the daggone fridge to get ice in that short period of time, let alone run a mile in less than time that it takes to air on a TV commercial break. That's crazy. Daggum, that's crazy. Oh, all right, Tony, give us your third and final honorable mention, please, sir.
The MLBPA submitted their return proposal for the draft system today, and they're trying to give incentive for small market teams to spend more as far as draft signings are concerned. And other than that, keep it the same. And I will say I will say the only thing that I have concerns about is international players. The domestic part of the draft, leave it. The international draft needs to be fixed. There are predatory individuals that are hurting these kids and their families and making things very difficult for them and taking money in perpetuity throughout their entire MLB career, sometimes more than 10%, for $1 million, to cover everything on what was $1 million loan at that point, or $100,000 loan at that point. I agree with leaving the domestic draft alone. If there's talent out of a kid that's right out of high school, like this kid we were just talking about, Brody Bumilla, he's throwing 100 miles an hour as an 18-year-old. He has no need to play the college game. He is going to get nothing in development from going to college. He should be throwing in the minor leagues at this point. But we need to protect the kids that are in the international system because they are getting taken advantage of.
Absolutely. Guys, this was Matt said he was done with his honorable mention. So this was absolutely an outstanding episode. It's always great to talk sports with y'all. But here are a list of the upcoming episodes. But first, make sure you turn on all your calendar notifications. If you haven't done so yet, also, please consider following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The handle there on Instagram is Nutty Sports Talk. TikTok, we have two, Brandon.Keeler8 and the Sportz Nutz. We are very active on both. And if you haven't done so yet, we'd love to have you be a lifelong subscriber to our YouTube channel. Also, if you're interested in possibly sponsoring your favorite sports talk show, send me an email, BrandonKeelerOnRadio@gmail.com, and I'm happy to set you up with the best partnership ever. Here's a list of the upcoming episode. 248 will be this Friday, the 28th. Desmond Johnson of the Tobacco Road Sports Talk Show is going to join us to talk about the upcoming NFL season if his Carolina Panthers can repeat as NFC South champions. Episode 249, Tuesday, July 28th, Chase Cravey and the entire crew of the Dirty Fanatics podcast. It's a podcast solely designated to the Atlanta Falcons. They are going to come on and talk to us and give us their predictions for the upcoming season for the Atlanta Falcons. And if you're interested in the Falcons, please consider subscribing not only to their channel, but everybody who comes on our show. They would greatly appreciate it. That shows that you really do enjoy them as well. Episode 250, Friday, July 31st. Our good friend Abe Gordon is back. We always have a good time with Abe, and he's going to talk about what the crazy sports market going on in ATL. 251 will be Tuesday, August 4th. That is season 6 finale. We have a really good friend of mine, Ben Camino, a great supporter and a great reporter in general, is coming on the show. Then we take a well-deserved break. However, episode 252, it is episode 252, a very special episode. It is solely based for just one guest. His name is Kamaka Pile of the Aloha Authentic. He is going to join the show. He's actually going to give you a little Hawaiian storytelling about the town of Haleiwa, which is a historic, iconic town on the North Shore of Oahu. And also, he's going to give you a traditional Hawaiian prayer to open the show. So really excited about that one. And then episode 253, it is Tuesday, August 18th. We were going to do we're going to do the new season on the 14th, but because it is Matt's birthday as well, and Matt, Shane, and Ben are not able to be here on the day, so we moved season 7's premiere date to Tuesday, the 18th. We have Casey Detzel, the play-by-play announcer for your Greensboro Gargoyles. They're the ECHL affiliate of Shane's team, the Carolina Hurricanes. So it's going to be an absolute amazing season. So I promise you, season 7 is going to be elite. It's going to be bigger, faster, stronger, as they like to call it. And also, nuttysportstalk.com is almost done. And you guys are going to really be excited what's going on there. So with that being said, for everybody who tuned in tonight and watched us on all of your social media platforms, thank you, and our YouTube channel, as well as on 95.5 KFCE and all the other radio stations, as well as our international audience. Thank you guys, seriously. Tony, it is that time, man. We hate to say goodbye, but please share with everybody where they can find you and your team.
Podcast name deferred tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern. I think we're actually working to make sure that's on the Sportz Nutz YouTube channel this week. Yep. But worst case scenario, you can still catch it on the Podcast Name Deferred Facebook page. You can also every morning on the Podcast Name Deferred Facebook page catch the MLB Morning Minute. It's a lot more positive tone right now for obvious reasons, but every day still up to what's going on in the world of baseball. And also you can catch that on TikTok, my TikTok at FGD and then 7 spelled out. Talking about what's going on in baseball. Love to hear your thoughts. Love to get your ideas for topics because I am not an idea guy. I am a talker.
Real quick, Matt, give us your quick final goodbye, sir.
Absolutely, guys. Beginning of the week. It's been one of them days, guys. Beginning of the week, guys.
We're also I'm not drinking.
Yeah. 50 seconds left before we got to get off, but don't get flagged.
Shane, give us your quick goodbyes.
Oh yeah, y'all be safe. May the good Lord bless you. Peace, love, and bacon grease.
And as I always tell you, peace up, A-Town down. Greatest sports city there ever was. You guys have a fantastic night. We'll see you on Friday. As always, goodbye.